1st of June, so it's well, it's the longest day of the year, so there's a lot of changes now because obviously you start losing the daylight, which kind of signals things like onions and that to start bulking up. So hopefully onions will begin bulking up, as will garlic. You know, them sort of things are going to start, you know, becoming ready to harvest over the next coming sort of month. You know, and those who've sown some like overwintering onions will have probably harvested the bulk of theirs by now, as with the garlic. You know, you kind of steal a month of your overwinter, which I used to do. But there's quite a bit to cover in this video, so I don't know what's going to be in this video or in the next video. There's probably some like pricking out, a bit of harvesting, general look round, maybe some planting. So I've got things to plant, but I've no space available as yet because the glut is beginning to, well, it's about to happen at any time now. So this will be a combined update from the garden, polytunnel, and the allotment. So it'll probably be in maybe 2-3 parts. I don't know. So there'll be videos coming up as got a few time constraints at the moment. It's a bit tricky to keep on top of things. It's a real struggle at the minute, and the watering demands and that. So hence I've not had a video up for a little while. So I'll get the camera, and I've got a few things to prick out first. Well, it's just some spring greens really. I need to prick them out. And that's it for pricking out at the moment, because I need to obviously start planting some things before I can kind of consider what to sow next. So we'll have a look at them, and then we'll have a look around the garden and possibly harvest a few things, and we'll go from there. But we'll have a can of pop first, because the sun's out. We are due some rain over this next week, which I'm desperate for, to be honest, because the plot is really dry. The ground's starting to crack on the beds and that. So and don't want things going to seed, because I know there's some stuff there that's on the verge. You know, some of the broccoli. So I need to harvest some of the broccoli, but I do with that rain just to give it that final bit of a swell. So we shall crack on. So I'll just prick a couple of these out, because many of you have seen me prick stuff out before. They're another brassica. Not grown these before, because I was looking for some Durham early, but I haven't got any left, so I found some that were called April. So I thought, well, I'll do some of them. I just harvest them for the tortoise food, really. I don't let them get to a cabbage. They are a spring cabbage, but you just grow them closer, you know, if you don't want them to heart. I tend to do them any time of the year. They don't take that long to grow. Sort of, I don't know, 60, 80 days. So they're quite small, but I always find it's best to get them out now and get them pricked out before they get loads of roots and become big and all bent and everything. So little dibber, multi-purpose compost, bit of vermiculite in it. I'm going to shove it quite a way down, simply. No real finesse her out, just bung them in. Say, because got that little bit of root on it there. They're only actually 5 days old. It's a sowed day, so they've. You know, this time of year when you've got the heat, it soon. You know, they soon grow. Like I said in the previous video, you've got to watch the sun now, because that can be your enemy and cook things off quite quickly. You know, what was wet in the morning can be dry as a bone when you come home after work. So a lot of people say, you know, it's ideal to water in the mornings, but sometimes I try. Obviously, sometimes I have to just settle with in the evening once the sun's gone down, give everything a good drink, just to get it through the following day. I say I'm not going to do all these now. I'll come back to these after. It's just as simple as that, really. Bung them in. You can either sit the tray in water to let it soak up, or just give them a bit of a water in. I will soak these from the bottom a little bit anyway. If they droop a little bit, don't worry about it. Once they've watered, you know, because come tomorrow, pretty much, you know, they'll all be stood up. You know, some of them stick down to the compost because it's wet. I tend to avoid putting them under cover now. As long as they go in a tray that can drain easily, cover them with a net. All you need to stop is bugs. So they're okay if they get rained on, blown about. It'll all make them hardy, because they're going to go in the ground inevitably. So I always said, don't baby your plants, because they're a wild thing and they've got to go out in that element. You know, all the wind, rain and hail and whatever nature's going to throw at it. So if you pamper them, you're going to build a bit of a weak plant up. If you give it too much of a good thing, because when it goes in the ground, you're not there to water it all the time, so it's got to get them roots down. Right, we'll have a look around. Right, we'll start off down the bottom end of the garden. So right, this little pot here was just a basic spillover. There's some of the poppies, which I think it was Margaret or Mags that sent me. Oh, Kath Connolly sent me, actually, sorry. And then at the back there's some sweet peas that Mag sent me. They were just getting annihilated by slugs, so they are actually starting to come up now a little bit. But they're a bit slow, so I don't know how well they're going to do. Obviously, my mum's, the Hilda's mixed sweet peas, they're doing the thing now. So it absolutely stinks out here, you know, it's lovely. But it's very, very strong smell, you know, and the bees like them. Because I used to have like petunias and stuff down these beds, but I'll show you the petunias further up the garden. That's some lettuce from the compost comparison, and then obviously here's some extra stuff that's been sown. These are the dwarf French beans. I did put 2 in each in case, you know, one doesn't germinate. Well, they all fired, the whole lot of them, so I don't know whether you can see, but every one of them sort of sacrificed one. It's, you know, you could just rip them apart and, you know, put the 2 on, but I thought I'll keep them in them. Where they're going to go yet, I don't know. I might put them in between the sweet corn at the plot, I've no idea. These are just some like I remember last year I did some like snow baby. They were like a mini corn. So those were all the seeds I had left. There was 9 left in the pack, and all of them fired. So I've got to find something for them. So I might do them in a pot because they don't need that sort of space. You don't have to worry about pollination or all that lot. Strawberry plant down about there. That's sort of starting runners now. So I'm going to run some off that at some point. This is actually some more rocket. I've got 40 there. So there's plenty to go at. Courgettes have sort of decided to go for it now, as courgettes do. Once they start growing, they don't half grow. I don't know why you can see down there, starting to get courgettes forming. So you have to keep an eye on them, because they can be sneaking. Before you know it, you end up with a marrow. But they usually do alright, just in 12-litre pots. Need plenty of water, and all this is just basically some canes with a little bit of wire. I just put string around, just to try and keep them upright a little bit. These are the Orla, which are in the bags, the 20-litre bags. They're a bit slow to get going, but they're off now. But need some rain. I've not sprayed any of these for blight, because obviously it's getting near blight season now. Temperature's right, but I don't think we've had the right humidity yet. But I've been down and sprayed the plot, just to be on the safe side. But there's, I can't remember, I think it was 16 in there, so they're tickling along nice now. I've put the some string around, some support. So I was going to try and do like Tony does on the simplified gardening thing, and put some sort of fence or netting for them to grow through. But you know, before you get to them, it's sort of like, well, I'll leave it for now. I'll just do the same as I usually do, and see how they get on. This bed we've got the some more strawberries and the Zebrun shallots. A bit leggy, but they're still growing. And the Cobra French beans. These were sort of surplus ones, you know, so pretty much all wrapped round now. That's usually the thing, getting them all going. So leftover stuff from like the very first trays I sowed ages, well, months ago. Just keep splashing water on it, and they're holding on. You know, that's a rocket going to seed. But they're months old then, and they look yellow then. But if you plant them, take the yellow leaves off, they'll green up and they'll grow. What else we got? Obviously these are potatoes for the compost comparison. That's the only space I've got for them. Just put them along that fence, Kane's paddock, because he's out sunning himself over there. Some Titan sunflowers, 6 there. So I've got a bit mad with sunflowers this year, because I've got another 4 there. Obviously needs water, that one. Leftover leeks. This is just like a strawberry pot they've been in there years, so I might run some off them. I think they're like the same plot that I have at the same variety I have at the plot then. I don't know the variety, so I'll probably run some off that, because the ones at the plot are really struggling. These are all my peppers that were sort of in the polytunnel. The giant bell peppers, which is pretty much this sort of complete row here, and then there's another different, like Phoebes or something it's called. which is like a yellow bell pepper. Struggling, a bit slow. They're in that Jack's Magic compost, so it might be because it's not very coarse, it's quite loam based, and they might not like it as well, but they're going to end up staying outside full time. The California under at the back, which is part of the compost comparison, they'll be going in and out the polytunnel label. Get a few little holes in the leaves, so it's like I've got to keep an eye on because there'll be bugs. I've started to spot green fly and aphids on things. There was some old raspberries bunged in a pot a couple of years ago that have kind of recovered. Because somebody asked if you can put raspberries in a pot. Well, they're doing okay, they're alright. And down the back there, how well they do, I don't know. There's 8 of the Titan sunflowers. They're not massive yet. I don't know how well they do down there because they only get limited sunshine until they get quite high. And I'll just probably put some wires across in time to that. The main problem area this year has been the polytunnel. Tomatoes are not great at all. I'll show you down this back end here. Sun gold. You know, they are producing tomatoes. You know, there's sun golds down the back there. You know, the vines. You know, there's vines. So all's not lost. This one, the tip. You know, it got to the point it was just dying off. But so what I've done, I've left 2 suckers. And I'm going to use one of them. Probably this one, I think, because I've got a fruit truss here, unless I sacrifice that truss, and this will become the new growing tip, which you can do if you accidentally snap the top off or something. Just use the nearest sucker to be the new growing tip. Otherwise, if you don't want it, simply get your sucker and just snap it off. They do sort of keep trying to grow back most of the time. But, you know, it's like their sun gold sells this, but this one's, you know, it had a bit of a bad patch around here, which might have been cold or something, I don't know, or when they originally got planted in here. You know, like I say, this was manure. How aged, I don't know, it's something I bought in. So whether it's had something wrong with it, I don't know. Things were reluctant to put roots down it, let's put it that way. It's kind of rooting in it now. But same at Gardener's Delight. Another Gardener's Delight there, it looks patchy there. But yet the tip has come round. So I don't think they're going to do as well as I normally do, because I usually do really well for tomatoes. Like I say, it's tricky, because these obviously had a bad start, these tomatoes as well. I don't know if you can remember, I had problems with compost, so you don't know if that's causing a long-term sort of problem. You know, they're still trying to battle it off if it's in the system somehow, you know, in some of the foliage. Because down there are some of the money makers, which were later planted in a different compost, and they're green. The San Marzanos doing like really well, really chunky, sturdy plants they are, really chunky. And we've got some Alicantes which are okay, and then we've got this sort of random one here that's not doing too well. But you've got this curling lark at the top here, real tight curling. That's the kind of thing you do get with, you know, like a trace of paralid weed killers. Like I say, because you can plant something, it only needs a little pocket of it, and that can cause a problem. And it can only be in the manure, you know. And it's getting a bit beyond the joke when it's you're wondering what you can put in, and what it is, it's basically farmers spraying the fields, which they're not supposed to do. And obviously it gets in the straw, the horses eat it, it goes through them, and all the bedding straw, it goes in the manure heap, but it remains there. It needs to go on the ground, and it needs time. So it will go out of this bed eventually, you know, no doubt about that. You know, I mean, I'm not going to dig it all out, because all I'll do once these are finished, I'll just grow some sort of green crop in it, just something to use it up, you know, and then try and encourage, like, you know, the soil bacteria to build up in here, and they'll get rid of it. You know, it'll come right. It just needs that time. As for watering here, a bucket here. I've not fully finished the dripper lines. If I do, I might do, or I might actually leave it like this. So I've got a bucket here which does one side, another bucket there that does the other side. It's just something like is it 4 or 5 mil pipe. It just basically goes along. No fancy dripper heads or anything. I'll pull one out actually so you can see. All I've got is a 4 mil screw, but inside I've got a piece of paracord, just to sound kind of like, because a paracord it obviously is porous, and the screw just slows it down, and kind of that speed that it drips. They roughly get about 1 litre each. Obviously they get fed through the top here. I have been feeding them different things. They've had like potash, Epsom salts, seaweed, just to try and rectify, you know, give them a little bit of pampering to get them to perk up. But like I say, I mean, if it's got anything in this sort of foliage, it's still attached to the plant. You know, I don't want to hack it all off. I'll just get what I get this year. I'll do all right. I'll get something. I always do. It's nothing to do with skill. It's just luck. But, and then up here we've got these, the basket of fire. Quite pale plant. You know, they have had the feed. Why they're pale, I'm not sure. But they're producing obviously little peppers on them. Stacks of flowers. Hoverflies, love them. They hover around. You know, so I don't mind them because they'll have all the aphids and green fly and all that lot, so they're quite welcome to stay happy in here. I just get a bit concerned about some bees get trapped in here. Right, so have a look down the rest of the garden, and then I'll show you some of the seedlings and whatnot. So there's the petunias. Need watering quite a lot. Bees love them. We've got the Duke Yorks that I planted in the last bud reveal, and I've still not emptied that other one of the rocket, so I'm going to do that in a bit. And then on here we have a couple of the Tesco sort of delivery trays. These are just some leftover celery, and the idea is with these, when I harvest the Swift potatoes, which I'll show you in a minute, these should slot in that little gap a treat. Some strawberries, strawberry there, I'll give it cane after. So poppies down here have gone mad, you know, so I don't think it's going to be long start getting the flowers, but it's water. I'm going to have to put a string around them because it looks like if we get a heavy downpour they'll topple because they are quite a soft plant. Swift, they're starting to look a bit ropey. I think it's because they're getting near ready now, and as you do, you always got to have a bit of a poke about, haven't you? Try to do this one-handed. See if I can find anything. As he says as he's looking, can't seem to find anything at all. Can't find anything there. We'll just take that gamble when it comes, but next week we'll start harvesting them because they'll have had like probably 80, 90 days, something like that. Going up the garden further, spring onion, those are guardsmen. 3 sort of leftover pepper plants. Can't remember which one they were now. We've got banana sweet, I think it's one called Anaheim, and a red cherry. Oh, not doing great. They do suffer getting a bit dry there, but get something obviously because you know, starting to form. Mammoth onions, well the Kelsey onions, I put some support around them because they just sort of started bulking up. I need to sort of straighten that one up a bit down there. It's gone a bit leany. But, well, it looks like I'll get an onion, you know, or two. We've got carrot, Caesar sweet candle, and then there's a variety at the back there. I can't remember the name of. I keep forgetting. And then we've got the sort of extra sowing of Santera, which a lot are dying off of that sort of damping off thing. But I'll get some onions. So it's been a tough year for onions for me, because I mean they all had a bad start as well. Leeks, like I say, I watered them in the last video when I planted them in. Never touched them since, and none of them died. I mean, yeah, they could probably do with a bit of water, but I'll just let Mother Nature deal with that. The Pentland crowns, they're all going okay. I've put the timber supports up with strings. Very dry, very, very dry. They don't think they've ever been watered yet. We'll try and encourage them to get some roots down through the bottom of them pots into the soil. And then we have the subarctic plenty tomato. Tough, sturdy plant that. It's like a little shrub, you know, and you'll get a lot of tomatoes on that. But I'm only growing it for seed, but if my tomatoes are a bit ropey this year, I'll get a bonus extra off that. The long red intermediate carrots, they're growing okay in there. I've opened the net at the top now because otherwise they're just going to collapse. And if root fly gets at them, then so be it. Sweet candle over there. I've lost a couple. Obviously drying out, and another one's gone a bit funny, so I don't know, because that's not got any plastic line in it. I wonder if it's drying out, because these haven't been watered either. You just got to watch it with carrots. If you get a sudden downpour, if you've got a carrot there, they can split. So what else we got? Have a look in the cucumber house. Cucumbers have been another fail this year, because a lot of them rotted off. That was one that started to rot off, but it come back round, but I'll probably get rid of that. They all got mixed up, because I had two varieties, Fem Spot and Carmen, I think they were called. Well, I know that these ones here, they're all Fem Spot, so I need to give that a water. They're the Carmen ones, a lot slower to germinate and grow. But I'll put one Carmen in just to see what they're like. And all that has is, I've got a little milk bottle. It's a 6-pinter, so, and that just basically goes down, and it's got a little bit of dripper pipe there, and it just keeps it damp, you know, for now, because I don't want to start washing loads of water over it. Different peppers, some of the banana sweet, little hoverfly, I don't know if you can see on the leaf there. Banana sweet, and this like the Anaheim and the red cherry, you know, plenty of buds. We've got the Apaches over there, you know, flowering up. And I look down here, I've got some more sweet corn. This is Northern Extra Sweet, and some leftover courgettes, which I've put down there, which they might end up getting ripped out if they cause too much problem. To get in there and pick some gooseberries. I can't remember the varieties of them. I've had them donkey's years. I might take them down the plot and put them in a fruit cage actually next year, just because they've been moved around the garden. They don't get looked after at all. Right, I'll have a look at this sort of a situation here now. So I've got more lettuce to harvest. I mean, after today, I think just from this area, lettuce, and that over there, I'll be getting fast approaching about £27 of lettuce I've had so far. So it's done all right. I say I ripped some of the clarion. I'm not a fan of that as cut and come again. So I've taken it out, and I've got my Brussels sprouts in 1 litre pots at the moment down there, just to keep them going till the space comes available. They were going to go in the fruit cage at the plot, but I might actually get them in here somewhere. These are the Durham Early Spring Greens. I can start taking these now. I can't remember how I was in there now. There's probably about 16, 17 in there. So start taking them. Because another like 3 or 4 weeks, some ones I've just been pricking out will be ready. Over to here. This is where I was testing a few different varieties. I had some this broccoli. I'm not sure, it's an autumn one really, but I mean it comes and it wants to blow straight away, and I think it's just dry weather and hot spell, but I'm not a fan of it because it's a tall plant, so I won't be doing that again. In fact, if you've got the space for it, fine, but for me, I like the compact plants, which what I grow at the plot, the Aquils, is a compact plant. Regarding cauliflowers, I've got 2 varieties of cauliflower. Can't remember exactly what they are. But we have, well, you can see, you'll probably not see down in there, but there's a curd down in there. These are the Iron Man broccoli. You know, probably that's getting on for like 4 inches, that head there. So some heads to do there. And down in there, you see cauliflower down there. It's probably a good 4 inch. So most of these cauliflower, these are an early one. You know, I've got to be careful because you get a downpour and they might not do so well, so I might start harvesting them soon. I say this is just a testing thing. I'm not bothered about how, you know, about them finishing off, because I need the space, and I can put all them Brussels sprouts in this bed. So I can start harvesting this. I'm not bothered about the broccoli side shoots. It's to try and, because the first run's been a tough run with the cold and that, and these are actually younger than the plants at the plot because they took a hit, so they're not going to do as well. So the quicker I can get them out and make the most of the second part of the year, the better it'll be. So that's a bit of a look round of everything. So everything's doing okay. So we'll do a quick harvest on these spuds and weigh them, and then that'll do for this video. But I'll just quickly show you how I'm keeping my seedlings alive at the moment. So they're not covered over with any polythene. All these trays can drain. This is just a scaffold net. It's what I use on my beds basically, and I've just chucked it over this. This is my shelf out, my polytunnel. So there's a lot of romaine lettuce there, there's 40 there, which will go here and at the allotment. A lot of cabbages that you saw me sow in a previous video, the January Kings. There's some more Primo too. And then that's what you saw me sow, they're the leftovers. So I did some purple sprouting as well. And then I sort of getting pushed for room because they get so high and they start touching the net and they'll start bending about everywhere. So I had to construct this thing. Don't know, not the best lighting to see, but if I sort of like just take this bit of string off here, carefully try and lift it up. There's all them. They're all broccoli, some more, and cauliflower. I think there's 2 or 3 varieties of cauliflower, I think there is. And the thing is, it's keeping them watered now and trying not to let them get too hungry. Obviously keeping them protected. Obviously some small slugs might be able to crawl in there, but it's more the butterflies. I can deal with a slug, but a butterfly, you know, get one in there and you're in trouble. And you've got to watch holes like this. I don't think a butterfly will get through there, but it's a deterrent anyway. And they've got the height they can grow, so it just buys me a bit more time, because all I need is maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and then I can spread them around and get them planted where the space is. Like all the plot, you know, pretty much every bed's going to be brassicas, nets up, and then I can concentrate on other jobs while things are kind of left to their own devices growing. And then just to try and make up that for that bad start in the year, I can get some stuff to load the freezer up for the winter. I'll be happy. Right, I've got on this quick spud reveal, and the last one's of the rocket. Alright, I'm going to carry a bag to shove them in, and then they've not been watered or anything, these, so we'll just see how they get on. Still damp at the bottom here though. Right, so it's quite dry, that wood lice in it and all sorts. I'm going to use this compost again like I did on the last ones, because I've still got some left for Duke Yorks. I mean, they're a bit bigger. That one's a bit mushy. Shove that out of the way. Say very dry. I think there was 2.5 pound in the last ones. Say it's had a split there. The other ones tasted alright, but I mean, they're not my favourite rocket. Let's say a lot of tiny ones. It could have got bigger with water. I mean, that is like really dry. But that's what I've found, is some of the compost is getting that dry. It's you got to water it and it just flies straight through it. It's hard to get it to actually wet up properly again. It's a crop. So we'll see how the swift in the bags do. You know, because if I can get, this is basically, it's like 4 seed potatoes in here, but if I can get, like, you know, the same 2 seed potatoes with 20 litres of compost, then that's the way to go. These pots have always been reliable, you know, for like main croppers. And they do work because thousands of people use them. And it's got all the straw and everything in this, but that can just all roll whilst back in the pot. I say I'm not going to bother showing you planting them back in the when I put the Duke Yorks in. I've only got a few left now. They're just sort of a later season, you know, because you can save some of these for your Christmas spuds if you want, you know, let them begin to chit again. But I don't think I'll do any late season potatoes this year, to be honest, because I just need a bit of a rest. It has been a bit hectic, and do a bit of fishing, you know, and I was considering, like, next year just easing off a little bit and not growing as intensively. just have a bit of a year of a rest really, because sort of trying to grow sort of intensively for over 10 years, you need a bit of a rest. But I still have stuff growing, like, just not as much. But I've said that before, so we'll just see how that pans out. Main aim is to go and get some fishing done. All that compost can get lobbed back in there, and if I've got 4 seed potatoes left, I'll shove another 4 in there. Right, so I'll get my scales out. One of these. Yeah, I think it was £2 8 ounce or something last time. What have we got now? £3, well, 3.07, so just call it £3. So yeah, we've got a bit more weight, another £0.5 or something like that, but we've had a good few extra weeks. So if I get like £2.5 off the Swift bags, because I've only got 2 in, then that's the way to go really in the bags. Like I said, I mean, obviously variety has a role to play in it. So on that note, I think that'll do for this video, because otherwise it'll be a bit long, and I might as well just, instead of doing one big massive long video, I might as well do a few. So I'm going to get some harvesting done here, and then go and do down the plot, have a look down there, and there'll be an update from there. So there'll be quite a few videos coming up over this next sort of week or so, and then it's just harvest and storing it all. So thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you next video. See you now, bye bye.